The audience for the book really is thoughtful people who want to understand the signs of the times, want to understand the pathologies of our day in a broader historical context. Well, the title of my book is The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self: Cultural Amnesia, Expressive Individualism and the Road to Sexual Revolution. So the book is an attempt to get at the sexual revolution within a much broader social and cultural context than many people traditionally place it. Now, the structure of the book took me quite a while to work out because this is a long and complicated story, but after a couple of chapters looking at some theoretical considerations, I move into what is a broadly chronological narrative. I start by examining the thought of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Then I move to the 19th century, where I look at the three giants, I think, of 19th century thought: Charles Darwin, Karl Marx and Friedrich Nietzsche, all of whom in their different ways assault the notion of human nature and pave the way for a more thoroughgoing psychologization of identity. They essentially pave the way for the next person in my narrative, who's Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud picks up on the psychologized identity which has emerged in the 18th and then the 19th century and sexualize it. And that sets the stage for the last sort of significant move, and that's the rise of the New Left in the 20th century. There are a number of problems in Marxist theory that Marxists in the early 20th century are acutely aware of. One of them is how do you cultivate a political consciousness among the working class when they don't seem to be interested in cultivating such a consciousness. And in wrestling with how to solve that problem, the New Left fuse Marx and Freud in a way that places sex, sexual identity, sexual psychology right at the heart of the political struggle. For example, the rebellions of the 1960s, and indeed facilitates the rise of the LGBTQ movement in the 1960s onwards as well. I write as a Christian author, and my final concern is how should the church respond to aspects of the sexual revolution? How should Christians navigate themselves through the turbulent waters in which we now find ourselves? And I have hopes that those who strongly disagree with me on politics, those who strongly disagree with me on the LGBTQ movement, will yet find much that they agree with in the historical analysis and the social and cultural analysis that I propose. And one of the things the book brings out are the implications of all this for all of our futures. Issues such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion are coming under huge pressure. And if we're going to respond correctly to the pressures under which we're coming, if we're going to know exactly what's going on, if we're going to be able to offer answers to those who ask why freedom of speech, freedom of religion is a good thing, then we need to understand the times in which we live. And hopefully this book will help you discern something of the nature of the times in which we live.